Welcome to another Watercolor Wednesday. Thank you so much for all of your support on my first video. I'm excited to film and edit these tutorials for you. I'm Tori and I'll be guiding you through this tutorial. Let's get started. For this painting you will need purple paint or red and blue paints, dark gray paint or black and blue paints, large and medium round watercolor brushes, watercolor paper of your choice, and the moon template if you'd like. So today I am doing a moon painting and I'm going to do it this nice pale purpley gray color. So you can mix a purple from blue and red and use that, or you can use a pre-mixed purple, whatever you've got on hand. So I'm going to start with this really light purple that I've mixed, and then I have a paint that I really like that's called Moon Glow, so it feels very appropriate to use that afterwards. So to begin, I am going to take that purple and outline all of the craters and the whole outline of the moon itself. And if you are interested in using this same moon template, I have it available in the Google Drive link in the description below the video. This is just a sketch that I did so that I had a moon to follow along, because I like to have something on the paper when I'm painting. Painting freehand is really difficult for me. So whether you choose to follow along with the exact moon or not is completely up to you. You can still get a really great painting just following the basic tutorial. And for these lines, I'm using a little bit of pigment and a lot of water, because I will end up trying to blend out most of the edge line in a little bit. I don't want it to be a real hard edge. Like most of my paintings, I try to avoid hard lines whenever possible to give just a lighter, more earthreal feel. Next, I'm going to take a very large paintbrush and get it very wet. And I'm going to go ahead and blend out the color that I just laid down. And I just tested it on the page because I wasn't sure if it was fully clean or not. So using this large brush, I'm going to blend out the paint that I've laid down and give the whole moon a nice light covering of paint and water. Now I'm going to go back to the smaller brush and I'm going to use that water to blend out the edges of the right side of the moon. What I'm trying to do here is create a little bit less harsh of a line, as the dark side of the moon is going to be fading into the light side of the moon, and we're going to end up building up more layers of purple on this side, so I'm just getting it ready for that gradual blending. I also am going to shade in the crater a bit. For me, the imaginary light source is coming from the top left-hand side of the paper, so in order to give that crater some depth, I am giving some shading to make it look like it actually does go inward and isn't in fact flat against the surface of the moon. So I'll continue to do that around the side of all the craters that are on the moon. And when I'm finished doing that, I make sure that all my blending strokes are going across in a angular motion, because what I want is for this to be a sphere and not a flat circle. So I'm making sure that I'm really doing a rounded motion each time I'm blending out, no matter which direction that blending is happening. After letting the piece dry for some time, I am going to start adding the Moon Glow, the darker purple that I have, into the areas that would be the darkest or with no sun directly shining on it. So for me, that's going to be the back right portion of the moon. And I'm just going to start by layering it on. The moon itself has dried in this area, so it's not blending or spreading at all. So I'm going to just add amounts of water as I see fit to start to spread out that purple and eliminate the harsh lines, so that way it's a soft transition from lighter purple to darker purple. After getting the dark side of the moon as dark as I can get it for now, I grabbed some more of the purple, and with a really light touch, I am outlining the crater. And I'm going to, keeping in mind the light source again, I'm going to accentuate the areas where really it would be darker and shadowed going into the crater, and then also on the far edge on the outside of the crater. So using the purple and some water, I'm just going to start building up those edges to give a really realistic look to the crater itself. Next, I am taking just some water on my medium-sized brush, and I'm trying to scrub out some of these harder edges on the left-hand side of my moon. And if I did this project again, I would probably use a much lighter touch on this side, or I would blend them out immediately after painting them on, because this is the side that I want to have a much softer edge because it's really the lightest portion of the moon. So I'm going to blend that out and then just do some other general blending to really bring the whole piece together. And now I'm going to go through and keep adding that darker purple to the right hand side and really start darkening up that edge so that it contrasts nicely from the rest of the moon. After letting the moon completely dry for about 15 minutes, I am taking the large brush and I'm going to do a wash of just water around the outside of the moon, taking care not to touch the moon at all. And this is because I'm going to drop in some really dark gray, and this is going to be where the moon is in space. This is going to be the backdrop of the darkness of space. So I want this to be as dark and concentrated and pigmented as possible. And I found that if you put the paint on the paintbrush and then just paint directly on the paper, you get quite a bit of a lighter value in the color than you would if you put the water first and then drop the pigment directly into the water. So I'm going to do a wash of this dark color all the way around the moon. Oh, did you catch that? And there you have it, the completed moon picture. I hope you enjoyed following along, and I would love to hear what you think about it, so leave me a comment down below. Thanks! Thanks so much for watching this tutorial. If you painted along, comment below to tell me how it went. And if you feel like sharing, send me your painting photos on Instagram and I'll share them on my feed. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of the Watercolor Wednesday tutorials. Click the link in the video for last week's tutorial. I post these tutorials every Wednesday and have cool time lapses of these and other projects on Instagram at Tori Makes Art. Thanks for watching!